Hi guys, it's Daniel. Hope you're okay. So, this is my weekly roundup, just talking about the first week of quarantine, how I've dealt with it, and things I've observed. So, in relation to work, this is the first week where I've worked completely from home, and that's been fine. I think some of the issues I had initially was maybe dressing for the occasion because I have been wearing quite casual clothing most of the time. And while it's good to be able to wear a t-shirt and sweatpants, the issue we have is that for me, the productivity levels have become a little bit lackadaisical when I've been dressed too casually. So I found that getting dressed up, like this particular trouser suit, which I bought the other day, I've worn this on one of the days and someone looked at me and said, "Well, why are you dressed up? Where are you going?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to work." And for me, I think there's a psychology between the way that you dress and the way you portray yourself and your general productivity levels. So that's really important for me to be able to maintain a differential between my home persona and my work persona. And I've been having long days in the house, but when it comes to the evening, a lot of the people in the UK have been given the option to go out for one bout of exercise a day. Now all the gyms are closed in the UK, so I've not been able to do any exercise. And for those people who know me, know that I do roughly 3 to 4 sessions a week, sometimes 3 to 4 hours at a time. So that's been quite a tricky thing to get my head around. Excuse me, only because it does play a really strong focal part of my life. But equally, I am a very adaptable person. So whenever something doesn't work out or something changes, I think it's my duty to kind of look at the alternate options without feeling very distraught about things I can't control. So one of the ways I've been dealing with this is by having or doing press ups at home. And the press ups are okay. They're not necessarily monumental. They're not going to keep me in the strongest of physiques, but in terms of maintaining in the meantime, I think that should do for now. Although I've been going for long walks, and these walks have been quite interesting because not only have I seen lots of people out and about in the street, um, a lot of people are feeling quite anxious about the situation, and I make it my personal business to try and talk to as many people as possible. I'd consider myself to be a bit of a social nuisance in a sense because I am the slightly antagonistic person who'll talk to anybody. And I think it's really important to be able to maintain human contact because the thing about these situations that I find really distressing is not necessarily the circumstance itself. I mean, some things are very unavoidable, but when people are afraid and when they're putting themselves in what I perceive to be a low vibrational state, it just makes me sad because I don't know. I never really thought about my life as being this embarkment of fear where I come down here to worry about things and to threat about my impending death. And I don't know, I think it's just really, really highlighted to me the importance of being so attached to life that you forget to live. Because over the last year or so, I think I've actually been self isolating voluntarily on the basis that I've really found myself going inward, trying to focus on my spirituality. And a lot of that has been down to social cleansing as well. Not in the eugenics sense. I mean, social cleansing by reducing the amount of toxic people I associate with, reducing the places that I'll go to that are going to make me feel anxious, whether that is going to a club, which doesn't really appeal to me anymore. I've had my days of partying and I've really slowed down for the longest time, but during that time, I found other ways to stimulate myself, which was looking at nature, taking pictures, and focusing on photography, trying to be in the moment a little bit more as well. And a part of being in the moment involves speaking to people whilst in the moment and just really, excuse me, rubbing my nose, really appreciating human life for what it is. And it's very easy now to look in hindsight at the things that we found as being really important, such as going to a restaurant, going to the cinema. Um, and when those things are gone, you're left with the feelings of regret, maybe, and feelings of just wishing that you'd done more. So, what I've taken away from this whole thing is that being in the moment and being in the present moment is so important to be able to appreciate the future that we just don't know. I mean, it's really uncertain. These are really unprecedented times. But the one thing I'm trying not to do is worry about things. And one of the ways I get over that worry is by watching less of the news and trying to have a different focus outside of myself as well as focusing on myself, which is a bit of an oxymoron. Um, but what I mean by that is some people pray, some people meditate, and I have omitted a lot of bad habits in the last few months. So I don't really drink that much alcohol. Sorry. Um, but yeah, I think that everything happens for a reason. So I guess the conclusive thought, sorry, I've gone on a bit of a tangent with this discussion. Um, it's just learning to slow down in life sometimes, learn to appreciate the here and now, and use this opportunity to focus on things that are really important, whether that's reaching out to friends and family, learning a new skill, or just taking the time just to be and just to exist. And by doing so, hopefully, we can emerge from this situation a lot more enlightened, appreciative, and just grateful for life. So, they're my quick thoughts. Sorry, this went on for a bit longer than I expected, but I just hope everybody's okay. And, my thoughts go out to people who are living alone, who don't have many family that they can speak to right now, and people who are just generally feeling quite anxious and worried about this whole situation in general. If you do want to reach out and you feel like you need to speak to somebody, then please feel free to drop me a message. You can leave me a comment below. I might not be able to answer all of your questions or even make everything better, but I do think that a problem shared is a problem halved. So let's see if we can tackle this together. And yeah, thank you for listening. If you've listened this long, I will hopefully speak to you all soon. All right, take care. Bye.